Welcome, oh shit, that's the wrong one. There we go. Welcome everyone to Respawn, Aim, Fire, the kick-ass irreverent gaming podcast brought to you by Idiotas Avabales. I am one of your hosts, Chad Michael, dead body on the side of the road, Ennis. We have with us our other co-host, Adam. Is it candy or is it... what's that? The drug that's going around that looks like candy.
Ecstasy?
Fentanyl.
Oh, fentanyl?
Yeah, fentanyl.
What? Why would you
looks like
give
candy.
kids an expensive drug as like a goof?
Gumbert. That's right. There was an episode
money.
of John Oliver last week where they're like, local news is making mountains out of molehills and is putting people in hysteria when they shouldn't be. And they're like, they show all the local news stations reporting, this might make your kids on Halloween take fentanyl and blah, blah, blah. And it looks like candy and it's marketed to kids. And then at the very end of it, it's like, there have been no documented cases of this happening. And experts believe that it's actually used to denote different variants of the drug and is not actually made to market to kids.
We made this all up, but we got to make news, baby.
Gumbert. And then we have with us, all of that was your middle name. And we have with us our RAF regular, Alex. Is that a knife wound or is that a third eye slit? Oh, Cozina!
Oh, okay, that was not going where I was expecting it to. Chad, let me tell you a story real quick.
Okay, hold on. I need a Mountain Dew for this story.
Oh, here we go.
A Mountain Dew Voodoo 2022 Mystery Flu.
I was hoping that you'd be able to make a very audible sound.
Oh, it did, but Discord just blocked it. But the podcast listeners at home will get it.
Stupid. So my parents own a cottage in the eastern townships of Quebec. It's located actually near a little town called Frelighsburg. I don't need to prove it, Chad. You just have to believe me on it, and it's your own fault for not doing so. No, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to dox myself. They own this cottage, and in another Discord server that I've been part of for a very long time, it's been this really long, ongoing joke about how my cottage is haunted and all sorts of bad, evilish stuff goes on over there. And whenever it comes to Halloween time, you know how everyone will always change their usernames on Twitter or whatnot. Like Gary Whitta will become Scary Whitta or so on and so forth. My Discord username that I changed to on this Discord server is The Cabin in Cozy Bear's Woods. A little bit wordy, but if you want to introduce me in a spooktacular fashion in the future, try to incorporate my murder cabin into it somehow. Try and be like, he's the only person that knows just what goes on in the murder cabin. Alexander Cozybear Cozina.
Here's the thing. This is our last live episode that we're going to have before Halloween.
Right.
So I'm going to make it a point that I only do it during Christmas times.
Excuse me.
I'm going to mention your murder cabin only during the holidays.
Jesus.
Yes.
Talk about Santa's sleigh.
Oh, speaking of Santa's sleigh, have you all seen the trailer for that Hopper movie where Santa sleighs?
You mean David Harbour?
Yeah, David Harbour Hopper.
Dennis Hopper movie? Yeah, no, I'm very excited for that.
Not Dennis Hopper.
Santa...
He plays the Sheriff Hopper on Stranger Things.
Oh, you're right. I don't watch Stranger Things, but yes, you're correct. Okay. Yeah, no,
you
I'm
don't
excited.
watch
that
Stranger
really
Things?
Fun. No, I'm in the middle of season 1.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I know what happens.
I have something to confess, Chad. I watched like the first 5 minutes of episode 1 of that show, and I was like, I'm good.
See, I didn't take it that far. I don't turn on Netflix for 3 years at a time. That's why I haven't watched Stranger Things, because I just don't turn on Netflix. I'm not a crazy person like Alex who thinks that Zelda 2 is better than Castlevania.
That's right. I do believe that.
I'm speechless. Speechless.
Y'all are learning. Y'all are learning things about me.
Bad opinions. Everyone's got them.
Speaking of bad opinions, Silent Hill's coming up later in this episode. We've also got information about Bayonetta 3, God of War's information, and we're going to start today with our main quest, talking about Resident Evil shows us the scary. This comes from Jordan Remy at GameSpot.
I think. It's a new name.
New name. Good for you, Jordan. Get it. Capcom has streamed its latest Resident Evil showcase on October 20th. That was a few days ago if you're listening to this right now. That was a handful of days ago if you're listening to this on demand when it drops on Tuesday mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern Time on podcast services and YouTube. It is more than that if you listen after those dates. This detailed several announcements for several upcoming games and expansions. Here's the rundown, and then we'll talk about it. There is a third-person camera mode coming to Resident Evil Village alongside the game's upcoming DLC. We knew that. We got a good in-depth look at it this time, though. And it also features a brand new story as well as new mercenaries. The DLC is scheduled to launch on October 28th, later this week, which is exciting. We also got new gameplay for Resident Evil 4 showcase, and it showcases protagonist Leon entering the Ganados village, focusing on his first major encounter with the infected villagers. This is basically the opening scene of Resident Evil 4. It focuses on Leon's first big encounter with the infected Ganados villagers, which see him having to constantly shoot and run to stay one step ahead of being killed. In the trailer, you can see Leon quickly boarding up doors to buy himself time and jumping across rooftops to escape his pursuers. And in this trailer, there are a couple of new mechanics that we get to see that are new to the game with the remake. You get to see some features and mechanics coming to the remake. There's a dedicated button for trying to stealth your way through the environment. And you can now parry attacks, so you can deflect them. You can use your pistol to parry a chainsaw to keep him from cutting your head open. The merchant, what are you buying? What are you selling? What are you trading? He now trades items with you. Yeah. Resident Evil 4 Remake is scheduled to launch on March 24th, 2023. Let's start with the Village stuff. How did that... first of all, I don't know if I've talked to y'all about Village. Adam, you don't play spooky things. Alex, I can't remember. Have you played Village? Are you a Villageite?
I have never even touched a Resident Evil game before. This isn't even one of those instances where like I like played a Resident Evil game at my friend's house one time, or like I played a demo kiosk disc. Unless I am like absolutely not remembering something that happened, never touch the series ever.
Whoa. Wow.
Actually, hold on. It's coming back to me now.
Just like Celine Dion.
I want to say that I played the demo on the 3DS for Resident Evil Revelations, whatever the Nintendo DS exclusive Resident Evil game was.
Okay.
That is the only piece of Resident Evil content I've played.
Okay. Adam, I remember you've talked about Hands before and Ethan Winters.
Yeah,
have you played
Hands.
a little bit, or are you just in on the joke?
I've watched a Village. I haven't played Village myself.
Okay,
I've played a couple Resident Evil games, but this stuff looks cool. Again, we've known about it. That'll be fun to get that DLC, and that'll end up that whole story. I probably won't play it, but I do enjoy watching it. I became one of those people where I was like, when I was an old man, a year ago, and I was like, who watches video games on the internet? Other people playing video games. And I watched my friend play Resident Evil Village, so I'm aware of it.
I used to be one of those people too. I used to be one of those like, why would you watch someone play a video game? And then I realized as a kid, my whole life, I just watched my brother play video games. That's all.
But you couldn't give him bits or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I could just, give him noogies, and that's a lie. He would always torture me because he was 4 years older. But yes, I'm excited for this. I'm not going to play it though. Here's why. We've got the Ethan Winters third person mode. I really liked this game. Had a good time with it. Third person looks cool. It's really popular now that 2, 3 remake and all that kind of stuff is bringing that third person mode back into Resident Evil after it's been first person for 7 and 8. But if I'm going to play this game again, it for me will be in VR when it comes to PlayStation VR 2.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I'm not going to play it in third person and then also in extreme first person. So I'm only going to play it one more time. It's going to be in VR. But what I am interested in playing before the end of the year probably is the Rose DLC. Mm-hmm. As you all know, at the beginning of the game, Rose is in several pieces.
Yep.
And now you're playing as a teenage girl named Rose, who is the daughter of Ethan Winters. So The trailer alone spoils the fact that she's alive as a teenager. So spoilers for the end of the game, like she's alive as a teenager at the end of the game. And this looks like it picks up right where that little like post-credit scene maybe leaves off, which is really exciting. And it looks like we might be going through some familiar areas, and she's using like, I don't know, some kind of light magic power through her hands, like Tony Stark style, to like stun these people and then shoot them still. So looks like familiar Resident Evil gameplay with a twist that you're playing as Magical Rose. Sounds cool. And there was still some like familiar spooky sights, like all of those really grotesque, awful things you remember from Resident Evil Village. Looks like they're back again. Now you get to face them as a teenage girl. And then for Resident Evil 4, I love that game. I love that game. I'm very excited to return to it in an updated way with the RE engine and all that kind of fun stuff. When we played it for Barf last year, we were just very we were like, this is a good game, but it is so old mechanically, and so it's needing an update. So I'm very glad this is happening.
I might check this out because I played a little bit of it like on a friend's GameCube or some shit. So the remake, maybe I'm actually going to jump into that. That sounds fun. I like the idea of that. We'll see.
All right. Whatever.
I mean, I just said I would maybe play it. I don't know why you're getting guff.
Whatever.
All right. I don't care.
We also finally got a release of next week for Resident Evil Reverse, which is the multiplayer game that I'm sure is going to be awful, that everyone who buys Village gets Reverse.
The multiplayer game that if you had told me it had already come out months ago, I would have been like, oh yeah, of course.
Well, yeah, it's because they announced
it came out months ago.
Before the launch of Village a year and a half ago, they said everyone who buys this game is going to get Reverse when it comes out soon. And now we're getting it a year and a half later. And when they did the same thing, they pulled a multiplayer game that you get with Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. They're like, you get a free multiplayer game with it after launch, and then that game was awful. So
they're all bad.
I have
all
high hopes
Resident
for this.
Evil. Remember, not Raccoon City. Well, Raccoon City was also bad, but there was another one that was very bad. Maybe that was the 7 one that I'm thinking of, where it was like a third person and it was awful and like 10 people played it.
Yeah, and that was the one where it's like it's a team of like 4 people and you're trying to work your way through a couple of different rooms and unlocking shit, but it was still the terrible tank controls of Resident Evil 2. Or maybe it was with Resident Evil 3 that's what it was. It was Resident Evil 3's multiplayer mode. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. 7 didn't have one.
The Resident Evil series reminds me a lot of the Metroid series in that they keep trying to make the definitive multiplayer Resident Evil game in the same way that they have tried so many times to make like a multiplayer Metroid game, and they never, some are definitely better than others, but they're never quite able to make it work, it seems.
Yep. But they keep taking risks and they keep trying. All right, well that's it. We got Resident Evil news. Fun, awesome. We're going to talk about more spooky things in a little bit, but first we're going to go to playtime. We're talking about what we played this week. And let's go from least to most. So starting with Adam. What did you play?
By the way, I was looking up Umbrella Corps is the game that I'm thinking about, which came out in 2016, which is, I think, like one of the worst reviewed games of all time. It's pretty bad.
Really?
Yeah, I think it was like all 3s. And let's see, its Metacritic is a 38.
Oh, 38. You know, if you double that, it's 69.
It's close. All right. So as far as playtime, so I did 2 things this week. Besides, funny you mentioned Iron Man. Today I watched Iron Man 3 because I was in the mood for some Shane Black goodness.
Yeah.
And then I watched a little bit of Winter Soldier. Because I felt like it, I guess, whatever. But what I've also done, I'm going to start with the second one. Plague Tale Requiem. That game about rats.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. That came out on, I believe it was Friday. It's on Game Pass. I'm like, let me check out the Barat game. And I've only played a little bit of it. I'm basically just past the tutorial area. But that game is extremely pretty. That is a next-gen ass game made by a AA studio. And it's like, yo, they spend a lot of time making this game look awesome. And
That's great to hear. Is it, I forget, is it next-gen exclusive?
I believe so.
Sweet.
You can Google that if you would like, but I believe it is only on
I think I will.
Series X, PC, and PS5, which is, you can tell if that's true. So I want to get more into that. I watched a recap of the first game because I never finished it, and that game ends in Wild Place. I already knew that. The first one.
You don't have to go like super deep into spoilers, but something that I've always wondered about these games that I don't feel like I've ever gotten a definitive answer about is, are these games supernatural?
Perhaps.
Okay.
Depends on
I'll
how
take that.
sentient you think rats are in real life.
Maybe the game says there's a blood curse that lets you control rats. If you think that's supernatural, then that's your decision, I suppose.
I mean, there are more supernatural things in the Bible than there are in in this game. And if you take the Bible as fact, then this is fact.
That is the basic
Interesting.
game, is that you're in Europe during the bubonic plague.
The Crusades and shit too, right?
Yeah, your little brother has the blood magic that you can control rats, and that's basically where the story picks up. It's very good, very pretty.
I kind of like that. I like the idea of like a story that is like 90% realistic with like a little bit of light supernatural elements sprinkled.
It was very Indiana Jones, where it's like, he's just an archaeologist, but it always ends in some Bible shit. Always. But
Aliens.
I would definitely say
Crystal's Kingdom or Crystal Skull, Aliens, Bible.
interdimensional beings. But yeah, no, Plague Tale Requiem. Everyone check it out. I'm very early on. It's very pretty, very cool. And the second thing I played, which was what everyone's playing, it's what's on Chad's list as well.
Yeah.
Fucking Marvel Snap.
Yeah,
What?
Marvel Snap, baby.
Why is this game so fucking good? That's my question.
I have gone full circle on this game. I started saying, "What the hell is this?" I even texted the group chat for, the friends from the RAF pack. And I even texted, I was like, has anyone played this stupid Marvel Snap game that's getting shoved down my throat on Twitter? Because that's all I see is ads for Marvel Snap and everyone playing Marvel Snap. And it's like, is it worth it? I want to know if I should let the ads win. I started this game last night. I played it for 3 hours last night. And then I played it for another hour and a half today. And now I'm done with it.
Jesus.
I've come full circle. I was immediately hooked. And now I'm disenchanted and disillusioned with it. So
you played a lot. So the great thing about this game, because I only do 2 or 3 matches at a time, it is 3-minute games basically, 6 turns, and you play your cards. And there's 3 lanes. It's a very simple card game, very easy to pick up. No microtransactions besides cosmetics. And it's like, if the only microtransaction you're going to give me is pay money for art that cool artist did, I'm not mad about that. This game's fucking wonderful, Chad. This game is amazing. You played a lot of it. I haven't played as much as you in one day. I'm having a great time, building up my cards, making them 3D, making the cards holographic and animated and shit. I'm loving it. So, it's free to play. Everyone play Marvel Snap. It is best game that came out this week.
Yeah, it's excellent. The gameplay like the actual card battling part of it is really fun and kind of easy to get. It reminds me a lot of like if you've played Inscription, the energy mechanic is very similar to an Inscription thing.
Funny you should bring that up.
Played that. Yep.
Yeah.
But there are 3 lanes on the board, and you have to attach your cards to a certain lane, and there are different effects that happen on these things that can randomize and completely turn a match around in the blink of an eye, which is fun. But the games are short too. It's not like a Magic the Gathering thing that can last, quite a long time for a single match, and relatively. These are like a couple minutes each. But I do what I after playing several hours in a very, very, very short time, I've beat the entire first season pass, all 20 levels. I got to the point now where you can pay $10 to unlock a 50 season pass based on, Miles Morales and Carnage and all that kind of shit. And where there starts being a paywall for stuff. But I'm into the idea of the cosmetics for the cards being the gold that you pay for, one of the currencies. I'm into the idea of like the constant progression that you feel as you go through. Like you complete a match, and whether you win or lose, you earn energy to upgrade a card, and upgrading a card unlocks other cards, and then these other cards then get upgraded, and it's like this. There's constantly another reason to play another match, which is why I did 3 hours straight while sitting in bed the other night. But I have now reached the point where I've upgraded my cards enough that like a single match doesn't get a card upgraded. And it seems to be random too, which card gets upgraded at the end of a match.
One gets it, yeah.
So it's like now I will go several matches without being able to upgrade a card, which means I don't get anything new for a while. And then as I progress a season pass now, I'm just getting more currencies to like, again, unlock upgrades or unlock things. But my biggest problem is that there's no friends list in this right now, and I apparently it's coming in the future, but there's no friends list. I can't battle my friends. I can't tell if I'm battling a real person or a bot most of the time. All of the names that I've come across right now are all like Miguel, Adam, and I have my Chad Mike in this username in there. So like anytime someone sees me, they're like, oh, that's a person.
That's a real guy. Yeah.
But yeah, there's no way that I can say, oh, Adam, I want to play you. Let's battle right now. So right now, all of these cosmetics that I'm unlocking and all of these cards that I'm unlocking, it's all for no one. Like I can't show it off to anyone. I'm building this cool deck and no one gets to see it but me. And so yeah, I've reached that point now where progression is slowing. I can pay for things if I want to. I can pay the $10 season pass for something that's now 50 levels to grind out versus the 20 of the original. And it's like, nah. If I was able to battle friends right off the bat, I would have stuck with it. But now I'm like, I'm done with it for now. And by the time friends are back, I'm not going to be interested in it anymore. So it was a flash in the pan, and I loved every second of it while I played it. But now I'm out.
And I'm staying in because I'm not a
I
man.
mean,
I played 3.
I feel like I gotta ask, like, how do you feel like the game compares overall to your shared love of Inscription?
It scratched that Inscription card battling itch for me for sure. And then Matt mentioned today, like, maybe we should play Magic the Gathering Arena. And I was like, fuck, that's what I really want. That's what I want. Build out that deck, unlock booster packs, see all sorts of cards, get random shit, fight people I like and know. I gotta tell you though, I don't know how many matches I played. I've at least 40, 50 matches of this thing, maybe more. I only lost 2. Lost 2. Good. Either I'm good at this game, or it's got that TikTok algorithm where your first video is like almost guaranteed to get 1 million views, and then after that it tapers off just to like get you hooked. First taste is free, and then you got to pay for the crack. That's what it's like. So like either they're really good at matching me up with people who are like, ooh, yeah, you're gonna beat this guy, but it's gonna feel like you just edged it out. But I could definitely tell 100. Like most of the time I was playing bots, they were making stupid decisions like, hey, if you put someone here, then their ability will trigger twice, and they'll like put it on some random thing over here will do almost nothing. It was like, why would a human being would not make that choice? This is obviously a computer. So that's when my sister, last thing I'll talk about this, and then we'll move on to whatever the next game is. My sister had the same thing in Jurassic World. There was like a Jurassic World like Pokemon Collectum
fight pit.
Something like that, yeah.
Jurassic
And
World.
you could like
pit.
battle your dinosaurs and like become the best and all that kind of shit. You could collect dinosaurs, and she spent literally hundreds of dollars on this game so that she could become the number one. And then she found out that like the entire top 10 list that she was with, they were all bots. Like she was paying all this money to be better than bots.
You guys are never going to believe what the Jurassic World Pokemon Go ripoff game was called.
Jurassic World Fight Pit.
It's hold on. It's Jurassic World blank. The blank starts with an A. 3 guesses.
Ascension.
Asshole.
It's 2. 1 more.
I played it and I can't remember what it's called.
No, it's Jurassic World Alive.
Alive.
Yep, that's it. That's it.
I did play that game. I played both of those games you guys were talking about, by the way.
Why is it called Alive? Like I would get that if this was like
because the dinosaurs are alive in your world.
Outside, they're alive.
Yeah.
Life finds a way.
Wouldn't like resurrection be like a better name because they've been like brought back to life?
That sounds like we're either getting biblical or we're getting zomblical. And those neither of those describes Jurassic Park. Let's talk more card battler. Alex, tell us about Inscription.
Hell yeah, I managed to finally beat Inscription. I was getting real concerned that the game was going to be way longer than I was anticipating it to be, but I finally managed to get through the 3rd act of that game, completed it over the lead up to the weekend, and man, what a great-ass game. I'm not sure just yet whether it or not it's my game of the year 2022, but it's definitely one of my favorite games thus far of the year. Can we go real quick into spoilers? I know that we have the Respawning Fire official spoiler cast he did with Jerkachu, but I want to talk spoilers real quick if that's okay.
Yes, spoilers right now. If you have not played the game, stop it. and skip ahead
Brent, get
however
on in
many
here.
minutes that Alex thinks this is going to take.
I'll hold on a sec. I have this. What is it? A 20% off in-store credit for Lakma, which is a chain that
Careful,
sells
don't
these
put
like
that
puff
code up.
pastry
Someone's going to
things.
use it.
They're gonna take your Lockma discount.
No, there's no code. You just have to bring this paper in person. The moment when I
Okay.
put this down, all the spoilers are no longer in play.
Okay.
So when you get to the second act of that game, things radically change up. All of a sudden, the entire game is in 2D, and basically you're assigned with overtaking one of the four scribes. The four scribes being PO3, the robot, the guy, I forget what his name is, who was like handling like the cabin in the wood style game, Leshy, the wizard, and the woman who's like the Lord of the Dead. When you get to that part, you're told, all right, you have to choose between one of these four different people, and then you will eventually battle them and vie for dominance over Inscription. I chose PO3 right off the bat because I'm like, I kind of like this robot guy. I want to see where this goes. And eventually that culminates in you throwing down with PO3, and then the game changes to become 3D once again, and then you're forced to go through this sort of like 3D-ish world, and there's all sorts of new kind of escape room mechanics, a la what was happening in the first act of the game. Beat that, got to the end of the game, thought the end of the game was very emotional, and I experienced the kind of brief segments in which you have to compete with the other scribes that you didn't previously compete with during the third act of the game in a 3D environment. And my assumption was, oh, okay, depending on what choices I had made earlier on, the third act of the game would have been entirely this with them. And it was a little bit disappointing to go online and see what I had missed in Inscription after I beat it and discover that, oh, actually, no matter what choices you make in the second act of the game, the third act is always going to be PO3's game. It was a little bit disappointing, but even knowing that the game could only go in that route, I still had quite a bit of fun with it. And I will say right now I've been playing a lot of Casey's mod, which is the kind of not endless mode, but basically challenge mode that unlocks after you fully complete the game for the first time. And not only am I having a lot of fun really getting deep into the dirt, kind of wrapping my head around the game's more kind of complicated and nuanced mechanics to beat the challenge mode over and over. But I also appreciate that there's like way more like story content and like little kind of like bits of lore sprinkled in here and there in that mode for people like me who like want to kind of fully understand just what the hell was going on in that game. So yeah, overall, very, very cool. Again, not sure if it's my game of the year 2022, but I'll definitely cherish it quite a bit for quite some time to come. All right, spoilers.
Spoilers done.
By the way, if you were an audio listener, we had no, we unfortunately didn't have anything equivalent to help you out, so we're sorry.
Which is 94% of our audience. It's all right. We warned them. All right, what else did you play? You got in here Overwatch 2. We got Sparks of Hope.
Yeah, so Overwatch 2, real simple. A couple of friends were like, hey, we kind of want to play Overwatch 2. And I was like, you know, I wasn't necessarily super planning on playing Overwatch 2, especially after everything that happened with, you know, Blizzard and Activision over the course of the past couple of years, and what with Overwatch 2 not having a great launch. And they were like, oh, by the way, don't forget, it's free. And I was like, you know what? That's fair. All right, I'll give it a shot. And I will say, a couple podcasts ago that I did with you guys, I said, you know, I feel like I might actually be able to really get into Overwatch 2, considering how much I love Apex Legends and how much I know people like to compare Apex Legends to Overwatch, how they're both these hero shooters where each character that you play as in the game functions and works, you know, very distinctly differently from each other. Was not expecting moving around in Overwatch to feel as stiff as it does, again, especially compared to something like an Apex Legends. And I know that some people who have been playing Overwatch for like years and years now are probably sitting here listening to me say that and are probably like, so like, that's just the way it is. Like, it's your fault for finding it that way. But like, again, after going in with the expectation of this is going to be kind of akin to Apex Legends, if Apex is like a real human being moving around in real life, Overwatch to me almost feels like a like Lego minifigure moving around via like stop motion animation, if that makes any sense. It's not it didn't quite get its hooks into me as much as I wanted it to, but I only played a short little bit of it, and come what may, I may actually dabble in it a little bit more in the future. And yeah, the last game that I played, I only played a very brief amount of it, was none other than Mario plus Rabbids. I was about to say Kingdom Battle. That's the original. Sparks of Hope. It's funny. Because I woke up real late today and went and purchased the game immediately after, I was concerned that I was only going to have maybe 2-3 hours of gaming to talk about on this podcast from it. I only got to play 1 hour of it, but even in that 1 hour, there is so much to talk about. First things first, everybody in the game talks now. Beepo, who was your kind of like robotic Roomba dude from the first game, is now fully voice acted, and all the Rabbid characters, while not fully voice acted, have like complete sentences and lines of dialogue and whatnot.
That's actually my one thing that's like off-putting, but I love the game so far. I've also played about an hour of it. But the one thing that's weird to me is that, like, the AI characters talk completely, like everything is voiced. The Rabbids are like, they'll say either like the first sentence of their dialogue, or they'll say something like a general grunt or a couple of words around it. And then the Mario characters say nothing. Yeah. They just go, huh.
Well, no, that's not true. Mario, as usual, says nothing. Luigi and Peach, they both speak.
I'm gonna win.
I've only gotten so far to a point where Peach says like,
in the very like opening section of the game, when you're at Peach's castle, you can go and speak to Luigi there, and he has like a little bit of dialogue. I guess once you get into the swing of things, there aren't as many moments like that there on out. But yeah, it's interesting to say the least. It is certainly a decision. I will say, I don't love how this game looks and how this game runs. And playing through it, I'm like, well, it has been quite a few years since Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. That came out all the way, like, back in 2017, shortly after the launch of the Switch, at a point in time where, the Switch was still pretty comparable to the kinds of games that were coming out on the PS4 and Xbox One back in the day. Maybe it's just that, like, video games on the PS5 and Xbox Series X have advanced so much more that, now a premier Switch game like Sparks of Hope just doesn't look very good anymore. And I actually went down a little bit of a rabbit hole, or a Rabbid hole, as it were. And apparently, like, they actually had to kind of like switch engines over for this game and like make a bunch of changes to it. To accommodate for the fact that you have way more control over your camera this time around. And the game actually does like not look as good as the original Kingdom Battle. And on top of that, like frame rate wise, the game is supposed to run at like a stable 30 frames per second at all points, but I found it dropping a lot while I was walking around, which was not great because the game itself is like not quite as quick as like ye old average Mario game. You move quite a bit slower through the world, and battles themselves can feel, a little bit on the slower side. It is like a turn-based, strategy game. So I actually found myself like quite a bit turned off during the kind of hour or so that I spent with it. I don't know, Chad, if you kind of found yourself similarly perturbed by these things, or
I thought it looked fine. I didn't notice any like noticeable difference between it and Kingdom Battle, but again, it's been several years since I played Kingdom Battle, and I haven't noticed any performance dips at all. But I'm curious, I played mine on the TV where it was in the dock. I'm curious, did you play yours handheld? And maybe that's why we're having performance issues?
I tried both TV and handheld, and I found, like, I didn't find that one was necessarily, like, better or worse than the other, to be honest. Which is actually a little bit, it's funny. There actually are quite a few Switch games that I can point to where I actually think that the handheld version is actually the better route to go, because scrunched down on the Switch's smaller screen, things don't look as bad being in, like, 90p, for example. Sorry, 900p, not 90p. That would be too small. But yeah, one thing I will say to end this on a little bit more of a positive note, one thing that I do appreciate about Mario plus Rabbids is you can tell that the people that made this game are a little bit more younger and unorthodox than the kind of people that typically make Mario games, because there are like a lot of references to more obscure bits within the Mario universe, just a kind of reverence for the overall kind of lore and world building of the Mario universe that I feel like the mainline Mario games don't really get into. Within the like kind of opening moments of this game, and this is a very slight spoiler, but if you don't want to be spoiled on this game, like it's not that big of a deal. They make reference to Rosalina because there are these new characters called the Sparks that are like 50% Rabbid, 50% Luma. And they're like, oh man, like what's Rosalina doing? She should have, done her job in protecting these Sparks. And it's like, wow, like you straight up reference Rosalina and her kind of overall purpose within the Mario universe within the first 10 minutes of this game. And you didn't even necessarily kind of show her on screen. This is just a kind of lore development. Like that is very unusual and very cool, especially considering that like, just recently, as I've talked about before on the podcast, I played through Super Mario Odyssey for the first time. Really enjoyed it, but there is a whole subplot in that game where you go to New Donk City and you have to rescue New Donk City from Bowser's minions and help out Pauline. And at no point during that entire segment do they establish, oh yeah, Mario and Pauline, used to, them be smooching. But here in Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope,
I was not aware of this.
Thing is as I was approaching saying that, I was like, do I want to say that they were married? No, they weren't married. Do I want to say that they were significant others? They don't really. Do they ever really establish what the relationship is between Mario and Pauline in the first Donkey Kong?
They really only go into it on DeviantArt.com. That's where they really establish the lore between the two.
That's a good point. Yeah, so anyways, all I have to say that there are certainly sparks of hope to enjoy and appreciate in Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, at least for me personally, but I don't know actually how long I'm going to stick with this one, but I will definitely give it another shot.
I've been enjoying it so far, and again, I've only played like the first hour, but I love that you have everyone unlocked. Everyone seems to have like their own cool weapons and super abilities already. I like the animations whenever you trigger a super ability and it goes to like the short cutscene of them like pulling back their bow or getting their punch guns ready and all that kind of stuff. But I think my favorite thing so far has been the Rabbids. Just like random, the best part of Nathan Drake's character is when you're just running around and he's saying stupid shit as he's climbing a wall or he's swinging on a rope.
Yeah,
and I think that's my favorite part of this game too. When like Rabbid Peach is always on her phone and she doesn't care about anything, and she's just like on her move. She'll like go and kick somebody and then she'll scream, "Does anybody have a charger?"
Or I've been like the most nonsensical quotes of all time.
Yeah. And I've been using Rabbid Mario a lot for these first few levels. And he just has, now that he's like voice acted, he just has this like really stereotypical Brooklyn Italian accent. I can't remember anything that he says except for this one line where I found a treasure chest and it gave us a whole bunch of coins. And he goes, "Oh no, that's too much." Hearing that come out of Rabbid Mario is just so good. So I think that kind of stuff is going to continue to make me smile as I go through this game. And again, I loved the first one a ton. And I've got a bunch of plane flights and trips coming up in the next 2 weeks. So I'm going to play it a lot. We've already talked about Marvel Snap, which I played. I beat God of War again for the third time now. God of War 2018 as a prep for Ragnarok, which comes out in 2 weeks. And goddamn, that game is just the best game. It's just the best game. And I was playing it this week, and I think I know why it's the best game. It's just got every single thing that you might love about video games and genre of video games, and it's in there. It's got roguelikes in there from Niflheim, where you're going in and run and see how far you can get this thing, collecting things and progressing. It's got the really like difficult, intense combat when you're fighting the Valkyries. It's got the deep customization and RPG elements with all the upgrades to all of your combat and your armor and making that better and grinding resources. It's got that open world. It's got side quests and missions. It's got excellent lore. It's got everything. This game
Whiny
is just
children.
It's got whiny children that as I was going through now, seeing it with a different, I was like, yeah, this kid should get his mouth smacked. But also,
Jesus,
nothing he said was wrong.
He's not wrong.
Nothing he said was wrong. Kratos was
let me
wrong.
tell you, I wasn't wrong when I talked to my grandma, but I knew better than to talk back, get my ass beat. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I'm really excited for 2, though.
Just love that game. And it's got the whole fucking final battle with Baldur, too. Just replaying it again, I was like, what an intense, amazing game.
That, 30-minute fight. Oh, it's so fucking good.
Yeah, incredible. And then the last thing I want to mention is just some woes I've got with Destiny 2, Festival of the Lost, FOTL. It's a Halloween event. It's a little late this year, but it's going to be going through November 8th, so well into November. But man, it launched with a big old... It's the same event from last year where we played through a haunted lost sector. We summoned these giant jack-o'-lanterns, headless ones, and the benefit is last year it was 1 lost sector. This year it's 4, so at least you're rotating different ones all the time. They've got brand new Gundam-inspired mech armor, which is really cool, with the caveat that you pay real money, real silver or bright dust that you earn in the game to unlock this stuff, and then you can't even wear the head, which is the best part of a Gundam is the cool helmet, because you have to wear this dumb mask the whole time. You have to wear this Halloween mask in order to continue to accrue candy and stuff.
What does the helmet do then if you can't wear it?
Well, you can wear it, but if you wear your Gundam helmet instead of the Halloween mask, you don't earn candy. You don't earn the pages that you need to progress the Halloween event in order to get the seal.
It's more of an after Halloween treat.
Right.
It's not for Halloween. It's for after Halloween.
And that's not any different than the way it was the last several years of the Halloween event. It's just I'm finally excited for my character's head this time.
What exactly is the logic in being you can't use the event exclusive rewarded item for doing this shit?
They just make you wear the dumb mask no matter what. It doesn't matter what gear you have. You got to wear the stupid mask.
I get it. To do this event, you have to wear this specific thing of armor or whatever.
Right.
That's the idea.
Exactly. Yep. But it also launched with a bunch of bugs, and the experience is just not polished this time around. No one, the first 24 hours of this event, there were bugs all over the place with people couldn't earn pages, or if they could earn pages, they couldn't progress and turn them into manifested pages to continue the event. There were bugs with the event itself happening, and now those are fixed, but it's still the task you have to run, these haunted lost sectors. You have to kill 10 of these summoned jack-o'-lantern people, and then you have to fight a boss. And you have a time limit for the 10 jack-o'-lantern people. And if you beat the 10 before that time limit, which happens all the time, it doesn't just automatically bring you to the boss. You just have to wait there and do nothing until the timer runs out. Ooh. So for me, that's often between a minute and a minute and a half of just sitting there, not doing anything. And there are the first couple times I did that, I thought it was a bug, and I left the event and redid it. And then I found out, oh no, that's not a bug, which means that one didn't count for me. You have to run this thing at least 35 times for the seal and the event card. I mean, it's 7 or 8 minutes long, so it's not and it's 3 weeks worth of event. So you got some time to do it, but
gotcha.
But then you beat the thing, and it's over. You get the chest at the end, you get your rewards, and then you have to wait an extra 10 seconds there before you can leave, or else it doesn't count as well. And we're used to, in all other types of events, is as soon as the chest opens, everything pops, you can get out of that event, you're totally fine. But now you have to sit around and wait for that thing to be over, or else it doesn't count towards your total of 35. And so I've wasted 3 runs of this thing because I didn't realize you had to wait around for all these stupid timers at the very end. So yeah, it's not a seamless, polished experience this year, and I just want to look like a Gundam. That's it.
Yeah. Honestly, just spend money. At this point, just give money.
But you can't just pay money to finish the seal. I
really?
Yeah.
Let me just throw $30 at it and leave me alone.
I need that title. And that's it. That's what we played this week. Let's move on to our quest log, talking about more spooky poopies. Silent Hill brings back the spooky, says Matt Kim at IGN. We found out about another event, same day as the Resident Evil event. Silent Hill announced they were going to be talking about a whole bunch of stuff, and boy, did they bring it. As rumored, Bloober Team, which is the team behind... I'm blinking on every game they've ever made. What?
Layers of Fear? Blair
Layers
Witch?
of Fear,
The
Blair
Medium?
Witch. That's what I'm thinking about. The Medium and Blair Witch. Yeah. Bloober Team is developing a full remake of Silent Hill 2 with the help of the original Team Silent artist Masahiro Ito and the composer Akira Yamaoka. How'd I do, Alex?
That was actually pretty close to how they're supposed to be pronounced. You actually did good on that one.
Thank you. The remake of Silent Hill 2 was announced for PlayStation 5 as a console exclusive with an asterisk on the screen that said, also coming to PC, and only has 12 months of exclusivity, so I'm sure it'll come to Xbox after that. The remake will retell the story of James Sunderland, who is looking for his dead wife.
I didn't kill my wife!
Who sent him a mysterious letter from the town of Silent Hill. Konami and Bloober are promising a fully reworked game using new technology and delivered in 4K. So we've got that remake of Silent Hill 2 coming. We also have Silent Hill Townfall, which is a new spin-off developed by No Code Studios, known for Stories Untold, and publisher Annapurna Interactive. This is a new project and will be a unique take on the Silent Hill franchise from a highly decorated AA developer. So Townfall looked kind of interesting. We got a little teaser trailer of it. Basically,
I was looking at the teaser trailer for Townfall just now because that was like the one I had not seen before. I'm going to say this right here, right now, potentially controversial opinion, but I don't think there are a lot of people that would vehemently disagree with me on this. I feel like there are few locations in video games more scary than like an abandoned lighthouse town. Like those like remote seaside villages, I think are perfect table setting for great horror experiences, and it seems like that's what they're going for with this one. But obviously there's not a lot known about the project just yet.
We got another one coming too. Another new spinoff is Silent Hill F. Little lowercase f. Kind of looks like Forte in music. Set in 1960s Japan, this narrative-driven spinoff will be written by acclaimed Japanese writer Ryukishi07, who created visual novels like Higurashi and Umineko. This one also basically got a mood trailer as well, where you just kind of see some weird visuals going on. A girl's face falls off, and there's like weird brain matter underneath. And
have they explained why it's called F?
I assume for fuck around and find out.
Okay, so I'm going to let you guys in on a real secret right here. This is a real trick of the trade that not a lot of people know about. It's very common in the Japanese video game, manga, anime, and entertainment industry to call sequels S, T, and F. So, for example, you'll have a certain scientific railgun season 1. You'll have Railgun S. Then you'll have Railgun T, and then you'll have Railgun F. And the reason why is because it's Railgun second, S, Railgun T, third, Railgun F, fourth. T, S, T, F, second, third, fourth. And so when I saw this, I was like, oh, is it called Silent Hill F? Because it's like they're going to like go back and retcon some things and be like, this is the true fourth Silent Hill game. But then it gets confusing because there was a Silent Hill 4 that was made back in the day by the people that, you know, people respect when it comes to the Silent Hill series. There was Silent Hill 4, The Room as it was called. But that game is itself kind of controversial. So it's not really clear what's going on here, to be honest, but we'll see.
Interesting.
What do they do for 5?
That's a good point. I guess there aren't a lot of like, yeah, F2. Maybe they go like Phi, like Fi.
Yeah.
Semper Fi. That means the fifth Semper. The spin
or V. Or V.
F will juxtapose a beautiful and terrifying world and focus on the psychological, supernatural mysteries of Silent Hill. But that's not all. We have another game, Silent Hill Ascension, which is an immersive... What?
Is the game?
Is the game... What did I say?
Continue reading.
Oh, an immersive project where participants around the world will control the characters in a new Silent Hill story. Silent Hill Ascension is a collaboration between Genvid Entertainment, Bad Robot Games, Behavior Interactive, and DJ2 Entertainment. This one sounds like a Kojima-ass project where it's like
This one is weird.
Yeah, you're gonna control things together. Again, we just got a teaser trailer that basically like kind of set the mood for us, but they were very much about like you're gonna do this thing multiplayer with friends around the world together. And it's like I don't know what the hell that means.
Someone. So again, just reading through the IGN article, all the stuff that you just said. I guess this is some editorializing, but this is what they say. Basically, a Let's Play Pokemon version of a new Silent Hill story that will be live on multiple platforms. What?
Yeah, so that's the way they advertised the release date of it too. They said live 2023, which is weird. Also,
it's a cool idea if it works.
You know what's wild to me? They have Ascension.com. Like, go to at the very end, it's like Ascension.com, and it's like, how the hell did Silent Hill get Ascension? How did God of War Ascension not get it first? How did like any other company like the .com bubble? All this, nothing. Nobody got Ascension.com yet.
That's weird.
It's super weird because didn't Konami default on their like domain over like the Silent Hill franchise a while ago?
That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't know. That's just a weird idea for a game. Could be cool, but it's like everyone get together and we'll make decisions. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's guys, I just did it right here, right now. If you go to silenthill.com, it brings up a entirely black page with Masahiro Ito's Twitter account with one tweet, which is, I wish I hadn't designed fucking Pyramid Head. That is silenthill.com.
That's right.
That's great.
Which is why
and yet they have Ascension.com. And yet they have Ascension.com.
Yeah.
What? I don't know what is going on over at Konami. Even though we're all supposed to be kind of happy that they're finally giving the series the due it deserves, like clearly there are still a few loose screws over there.
Finally, the last announcement here. This is, I believe, maybe a French name, Christophe Gans, maybe. Or if I was going to read it like an American, it says Christophe Gans, the director of the first Silent Hill movie, is making a third movie in the series with Return to Silent Hill. That's about all we know. From what I understand, this kind of goes for the rest of this too. From what I understand, that original movie did not do well, and people did not generally think it was a good movie. So, like,
did you guys?
Interesting that they chose him again.
It?
Guess what?
I've seen it as a kid a long time ago, but I remember now nothing about it.
I've watched Silent Hill the movie. I saw 2 in theaters.
Ooh,
wow! I saw the only the first Silent Hill movie like a few years ago. That movie is not amazing, but it does have 2 really good things going for it. One, visually, I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. Way more gorgeous than I feel like a lot of other video game movies go for. I feel like it's more common that other video game movies kind of go for more of a like hyper-saturated kind of homogenous look to them. This one like really was shot like a art movie in a way that I feel was very pleasing. The other thing is, the original Silent Hill movie made extensive use of Akira Yamaoka's like famous tracks from the Silent Hill games, which is one of those things where it's like, well, yeah, of course, no duh. But I feel like we can count like no shortage of video game movies off the top of our heads that don't use any of the like iconic music from the games that they're based on.
Uncharted, right?
Oh, they use it like in the credits, and when you see Nolan North is when they use the theme. That's it.
And so it's like shout out, like ultimately we'll see whether or not this third Silent Hill movie is any good or not, but like shout out to Christopher Gans for being like, hey, the Silent Hill games have really good music, let's use that music. I will take my ego off the table right here and right now and defer to Akira Yamaoka on this one. I appreciate that.
So all of that Silent Hill stuff is coming down the road. Great. I hope that franchise finds new life. From what I understand, though, again, like there are a lot of projects that Konami is funding right now after a long time of not funding anything worthwhile. That for Silent Hill in particular, which is a franchise that I honestly have only ever played a few minutes of a PSP game in that franchise, but as I understand, like there's a good game, maybe 2 good games in that franchise, and the rest of them are like super meh. So like to announce, what is this, 4 or 5 new entries in this franchise at once sounds like they're taking a big risk.
They are remaking the one that everyone likes, though. Whenever you say there's 2 good games, 2 is the one that people like. Okay. So I think that'll be fun. And then, yeah, well, I guess we'll see what sticks. You know, it could be good, could be bad. I don't care. I'm not gonna play it, but I like that it's there.
Yeah.
They're
Have
trying
you
to do something.
guys have you guys caught wind at all of like all the kind of naysayers and kind of general kind of disquiet that people have over Bloober Team taking over development of the remake?
No. Bloober, in general, I feel like people are like kind of into Bloober Team. Like they're seen as like a good AA developer. That's my understanding based on like general discourse that I see. Is that not what people are saying though?
It's tough because like there are a lot of people that are really not happy with Bloober Team taking over development of the game, but it's like it's one of those things where like I feel like the people that are like most vocal about not liking Bloober Team being on the project are the kind of people that have like been with the Silent Hill series from like day one and are like super diehard fans that are like that have kind of gone through heaven and hell over the course of the past 2 decades as Konami has like repeatedly fucked up the franchise over and over and over again. And they're just sort of so downtrodden and they just see this as like another example of Konami potentially fucking things up. There was one tweet that I saw that I feel like, I don't know that I entirely disagree with it, but I feel like it encapsulates very well like people's issue with Bloober Team being on this project. And it was like this game, Bloober Team's remake of Silent Hill looks like if Steven Spielberg saw Super 8, the what's his face, J.J. Abrams movie,
Yeah, Abrams,
and then
yeah.
decided and then went, J.J. Abrams, you can remake E.T. based on this movie. Like their whole kind of issue with it is that it's like Bloober Team has sort of made a name for itself making horror games that clearly are inspired and ape off of the classics like Silent Hill 2, but are not quite on the same level as those games. And now you're kind of giving them the keys to the kingdom. That's sort of where those people's heads are at. But I mean, they do obviously, have the brain trust of some of the original people that were responsible for the series becoming popular in the first place. So maybe this is their big break where they finally kind of break out of this rut of making good, not amazing games and really knock it out of the park.
Yeah, I got two things. I see what they're saying. First thing is that it's a remake. They're not making a new Silent Hill game. So, like no one complains when Blue Point makes a new game. They've never made anything original. No one complains because they make good remakes. So Bloober Team could do that. Also, like your example, the same thing where like, yeah, he made Super 8, so then he can make this movie. That makes sense. Like, you got to remember, in that scenario, Steven Spielberg is dead. Is there anybody from the original Silent Hill team who still works at Konami? So who's going to do it? I don't think that they have a staff of 500 people who made that game in the early 2000s still working at Konami. So I don't understand like who else is going to do it, right? We'll see, I guess.
Who knows?
We'll see.
There's also like the something to be said. Like they're clearly inspired by other horror things, and even if they like borrow or steal from those concepts, like there's something to be said for fans of that stuff remaking and giving new life to that content. And I think about the fact that like at Nintendo nowadays, like all the greatest, most modern Mario games are made by people who grew up playing the original Mario games as kids, and now they're really excited to make them. And so, like that kind of thing rings true here, I think, for me as well. Where we're seeing these people that love this content as consumers that are now responsible for recreating that original in hopefully a faithful way that they care about too.
Yeah. I mean, again, I do see the worry because they do make only AA games, but either you get nothing at all or you let the AA team try to make a remake. To take your pick, you Silent Hill fans, nothing or maybe a good remake. What do you want?
Well, at the extreme end of the great AAA teams, we've got Sony Santa Monica over here. God of War's boy is becoming a man in 4K. This comes from Logan Plant at IGN. Another new name. Another new Logan? Are these both Logans?
No.
The first one was
we know
Jordan.
Logan Plant.
Okay.
Yeah, we know Logan
Do
Plant.
I know Logan Plant? Is he a plant? Is he there specifically for us to make us look
He's
good?
there from somewhere else. Yeah. He's not as common as the other people, but
freelancer.
He's there.
Got it.
Yeah.
So Sony Santa Monica will offer players a lot of different graphics options, we found out in God of War Ragnarok when it launches in 2 weeks. Thanks to the graphic mode options breakdown from Press Start, it's been confirmed that God of War Ragnarok supports 120 hertz. which in a practical everyday sense means that it's designed to run with an unlocked frame rate that aims to stay above 60 frames per second. In a statement to IGN, Sony said that frame rate will vary based on gameplay elements and the world location. Here are a couple of modes that are listed in the report. So you have your standard resolution or performance mode, resolution being 4K 30 locked, performance being 60 frames per second locked, and maybe a checkerboarded variable resolution. And then they have two options that are the same idea, but with high frame rate versions. So favorite resolution will be 4K 40 frames per second locked, and favorite performance will be that syncs that 120 hertz per second, 120 hertz. So it's going to be 60-ish up to 100, above 120. Both of these require HDMI 2.1 and a TV capable of running all of that. So that's a cool little interesting twist. Of course, we recently got that PlayStation update that unlocks variable frame rates that makes all of this happen. Segment from Adam after we're done is the note that I see here.
Not supposed to read that.
Oh. We're done.
Strike that from the record. Well, before you do that.
Kidding.
Well, no, go ahead and do your thing.
No, I was yawning. That was a yawn that you heard there.
Oh, go ahead and do your thing if you're ready. Unless you have, cool. We know the things in the game that comes out in 2 weeks that I'm very excited for.
Yeah.
Alex, do you have anything to say about this story?
God of War's looking good. Let's play it.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Chad. You done yawning?
A segment from Adam. Let it get to get. Let it be. Adam.
All right. So for those eagle-eyed viewers or listeners of the podcast, you might have noticed Chad's been singing a song as of late, and maybe I snuck it in. So our first story was Resident Evil shows us the scary. The second story was Silent Hill brings the spooky. God of War's boys becoming a man, so we know what that means. Segment from Adam this week, men becoming wolves.
Love it. Love it. Oh, such a meta, beautiful thing.
I'm thinking in fucking 5D chess over here, guys. So we're going to play a little game called Men Becoming Wolves. And these are all, I have 7 games.
Okay.
And these are all games featuring the wolf of the were variety. And the way that this
is
works,
Carmen Sandiego's Wolfman.
the way that this works is, I'm going to give you. I have 3 clues, right? And when I say the first clue, if you guess it on the first clue, you get 3 points. You guess on the second clue, 2 points. Guess on the third clue, 1 point.
Okay.
Whoever has the most points by the end of the game wins. Throw out your answers whenever you think. Again, these are Men Becoming Wolves. Take that title of the game as you please. Okay. We're going to start with. We're going to go with this one first. All right. Men Becoming Wolves game number 1. It came out for 2 machines. Men Becoming Wolf game that came out on 2 machines. If I don't get any guesses, I'm going to move on. It has been released multiple times. Any guesses here? All right. The last clue is...
Our guess is infinite?
Yeah, you can just guess as much as you want.
Resident Evil Village?
No.
Okay.
The last clue is Amiibo.
What?
There aren't any werewolves in Bayonetta, are there?
That's not Bayonetta.
Amiibo, a Yubo, a Weebo.
Came out for 2 machines, been released multiple times. Amiibo.
This seems like, Chad, if I can confer with you, if we can link our brains together, I think that it's possible that the 2 machines that Adam is referring to might be the Wii U and the Switch. This could be one of those games that got ported from one to the other.
Yeah.
You guys are competing, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we got to link our brains together on this one.
On this one, I don't think it's hard because I'm looking at the list, but that's just me.
I was not thinking anything Nintendo at this point. I have werewolf-related games that have nothing to do with these clues that I could just burn right now, but that would give Alex an advantage on the future, the ones that might be those answers.
All right, I think I'm going to call it on this one. Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess.
Guys.
Whoa, wait. Okay.
GameCube and Wii,
right.
Re-released on Wii U.
He literally became a wolf.
Amiibo.
I was thinking werewolf.
Okay, so I was...
Okay.
Yeah, see,
Men Becoming Wolves is what the game's called.
I was on the right track. You were
getting
Adam,
there.
if you could give me 0.05 points, I would appreciate it.
I will give you 0 points. Gotcha. All right, number two. Number two. It's a 2008 platformer. It took a bit of a different direction. 2008 platformer, different direction.
Diblob.
The Blob?
Yeah. It's a
Outlast.
platformer that came out in 2008.
Or out.
Maybe they had a werewolf enemy in it.
No, not Outcast, not the Blob. Changes from the iconic colors. Change from an iconic color.
There were lots of colors in Diblob.
There was.
Splatoon 2.
Oh, all right. We'll go to our last clue. You gotta go fast to the discount bin.
Oh, Sonic the Dark. He has a sword, werewolf, collect the rings.
What's the name of the game, Chad?
Sonic and the Dark Knight.
Sonic and the Dark Crystal Chronicles.
Still waiting on
Sonic
the right
and the
answer.
Secret Rings.
Sonic
Still waiting.
Brave the Knight.
I'll give you guys
Is
one
it
more
not,
guess.
Adam, is it not Sonic and the Black Knight?
No, it is not.
No,
Okay.
it's dark. There's something dark in there. I can see the cover. He's holding a sword. He's got like a furry werewolf hand.
But that is the game I'm referring to.
All right, you guys have guessed. It is Sonic Unleashed is the name of the video
Unleashed.
game where he becomes a werewolf.
fuck.
That is not what I thought.
And that one,
but it makes sense.
this is an entire podcast that I'm opening up here. That game, not that bad. I actually should remember that one. But
Okay, also
time.
that's Hedgehog becoming wolves.
yeah, I was going to say, the official terminology that they use in the Sonic universe is werehog, not werewolf.
The title is also the reference to a Tracy Jordan song, so keep that in mind. Let's not take it too literally. Sort of literally, though. All right, again, games where men become wolves, were creatures, wolves were their were. Let's see. This one. Or the next game we have up, Spooky Tall Castle.
Castlevania.
Not Castlevania. What was it? Pandora's Tower? No, that's not, I
Yeah.
don't think that's a thing.
It is a thing. It was like one of the last Wii games released in 2013.
Oh, I don't remember anything about that. Spooky Tall Castle. Okay, this one. Gross, full of blood, gore, and slurps.
And slurps. Oh, God. Werewolves versus Vampires, The Reckoning.
There's a game with a similar title, but no, that is not it. All right, I'll go to our last one. My hands.
Resident Evil Village.
Resident Evil Village. God damn it.
There you go. Give yourself a point, Cozy. Chad, I thought you would get the slurps based on that baby thing, right?
Chad,
Yeah.
I didn't.
What's up, Alex?
I was going to say, Chad, I feel bad getting that one, considering that I've never touched a Resident Evil game before outside of that one demo. But like, you have to understand that one moment was everywhere on Twitter when the game released. So there's no way I was not going to get that.
I do love how we're 3 games in, a possible 9 points, and Cozy has 1 point. All right, guys.
1.05 points.
I'm gonna give him that 0.5. Let's see. Okay, here's a good one. Hunt monsters, including the Wolfmans.
Monster Hunter.
No, good guess though.
Outlast.
No. You want me to do one more? Want me to go next?
Yeah,
Or you got
one
an
more.
idea?
Because I don't want to burn this game because I have a feeling it's coming up somewhere in here, and I don't want to burn this one unless it's right.
Steel or silver? Question mark.
Nope.
Nothing from you guys?
Nothing.
All right.
No.
I'll do the last one. Henry Cavill's bare butt was inspired by this. Come on.
The Witcher?
Yeah. What is it?
Oh,
Which
The
one?
Witcher 3
The
and
Witcher
Wild
3.
Hunt.
I'm
The
like,
Witcher Wild
give
Hunt.
it
Technically, it's not
Yeah,
called The Witcher
you said-
3. It's called The Witcher Wild Hunt. So I win.
with the 3s in the back. I'm going to give it to
All
Chad
right.
because it
All
makes
right.
the game
That's
even.
fair. That's fair.
Makes the game even. That's more fun. You didn't see you hunt monsters. You hunt Monster Hunter.
Yeah, I know.
Geralt.
I didn't play The Witcher.
Gerald is a monster hunter. That's Geralt. All right, this one. I keep saying you're going to get these, but I'm fucking proven wrong every time. All right, this exclusive. Excuse me. This exclusive wasn't quite the banger.
I'm thrown off by the word banger, but I think this might be the game that I didn't want to burn earlier.
You gonna guess it?
No, I don't want to guess it yet. Give me another clue.
Alex, do you wanna
Assassin's
guess?
Creed Syndicate, because they take place in England, and England has bangers and mash.
Was that just exclusively bad? Is that what the word exclusive means there?
Real pretty, really
The Order
mid.
1886.
Yes. Chad,
Yeah.
give yourself 2 points.
Yeah. Boom.
You could have guessed it on the first one, right? That was
Chad,
what you
we're
had in
Just
your
the word
Hold
mind.
on.
banger threw me off, and I was like, does this have something
Hold
to do
on
with
a sec.
explosives? I don't know.
Chad, were you inspired to say that because I went with Resident Evil Syndicate?
No. No, the Order 1886 is something I've been wanting to say for every single game.
Okay. All right.
My last
all right.
clue for that, which I don't remember, vampire dick? Is it a vampire or werewolf? penis
Werewolf
you see
dick.
that?
It's definitely werewolf
It
dick.
is. I did the well. Good
Is
thing we
it?
didn't get to the last one.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you
Chad
can
is
see a
on-
wolfy
I feel like
dangling.
Yeah.
you definitely see both of them in that game, I want to say.
There aren't vampires in that game, are there?
Yeah, there are. That's the whole reveal, is that initially you think it's just werewolves, and then it's revealed, oh, actually the people who are funding the Knights of the Round Table modern day group are actually like a bunch of vampires, and they're pulling the strings and like are in control of politics and all that.
I've played that game front to back twice, and I don't remember that. I don't remember any of it.
So Chad's on 3, Cozy's on 1 point. All right, this one. Fantasy game where you can become a wolf by joining a fight club. Fantasy game where you become a wolf by joining a fight club. Alex has got something in his mind. If you get it on the first try, you'll get 3 points, Alex.
Is it the game where they're like rise from your grave, and it's like really digitized and really crappy because it was like for the Sega Genesis, but I don't remember what it's saying.
No, that is not it. I will tell you now. That is not the correct answer.
What game am I thinking of?
I don't know.
Altered
Rise
Beast. That's it. It's Altered Beast.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting. That is a game where there's werewolves, but that is not the game this one.
Okay.
All right. Expansion based on your sworn enemy. This game has an expansion based on your sworn enemy.
I don't think this is it. I want another clue.
Alex, you want another clue or you want to guess?
It's
will
a
tie you
Devil
with
May
Shadow.
Cry.
No, it is not Devil May Cry.
Okay.
Again, you're allowed as many guesses as you want. If you don't have anything, I'll go to the last one. All right. Biggest game of 2011.
Oh, nope, not what I was thinking at all.
Oh. Portal 2?
No, it's not.
Famed werewolf game Portal 2.
So many werewolves in Portal 2. Fight a fantasy game where you become a wolf by joining a fight club. Expansion based on your sworn enemy. Biggest game of 2011. Nothing?
Soul Calibur 4.
Okay.
Do we just want to list 2011 games?
No, it's fine. It was Skyrim.
I haven't played
What-
Skyrim.
Wait. There was an
Yeah, there's an
I-
expansion where you fight vampires.
Okay. Got it.
Oh, got it. Okay. Yeah, okay.
Absolutely. All right. So 3-1. We're on our last question. Please, God, let this be easy enough for you guys. This fabled tale was a
Wolf
big
Among
hit.
Us, Fable.
Well, you got it immediately. It was Wolf Among Us.
I've been waiting to say Wolf Among Us, and I've been waiting to say Diablo 2.
So Chad ends up with 6 points total. Cozy ends up with 1 point total, with a potential 21 points over for everybody. But here we are. The men have become wolves. I will sunset this video game like they sunset the full moon at night.
Like
when
the
it
sunset
moonfalls.
Old Yeller when he turned
There
into
you
a
go.
wolf.
There's my segment. I did not
Jesus.
realize these games was going to be so hard.
It's all right. It's still fun. A bit more of Bayo 3. Speaking of werewolves, I don't know what that has to do with this. This comes from Andy Robinson at VGC. Last week we
hold on a
talked
sec.
about...
Hold on a sec. The podcast isn't over? I thought the podcast was over.
No, I
No,
just
that
wanted
was
to
segment
do
from
it.
Adam. That was not Game on Game Show, sir.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, that was my segment
Okay.
because, again, I named all the titles. Boys Becoming Men.
It's just typically we do these segments at the end of the podcast, and so I
Yeah.
assumed, oh, okay, we're wrapping up now.
I did it like 2 lines in once, and Chad didn't know what to do. We were in the very first story, like 2 lines in. I was like, by the way, a segment from Adam. Anyways, go ahead.
So last week we talked about Bayonetta 3 and how that story was just starting to come out, and Helena Taylor being offered $4,000. There have been a couple of more developments, but still kind of some things that are very unclear. But we just want to catch everyone up. So sources have disputed recent claims by former Bayonetta voice actor Helena Taylor, who said she was offered an insulting offer of just $4,000 to reprise her role in the third game. Sources cited in a Bloomberg report have now disputed some of the claims made by the voice actor, many of which VGC can corroborate via their own sources. According to people with knowledge of the situation, Platinum Games intended to rehire Taylor last summer, and it's claimed that Platinum sought to hire Taylor for at least 5 sessions, although VGC's session says it could be as few as 4, with each of the 5 sessions paying $3,000 to $4,000 each for 4 hours in the studio. This would have brought Taylor's total fee to at least $15,000 instead of the $4,000 that she claimed. According to Bloomberg, the voice actor responded by asking for a 6-figure sum as well as residuals on the game. However, Taylor strongly denies that claim. And then Platinum Games publicly stated its support for Bayonetta's new voice actor, while also attempting to diffuse the ongoing debate around the role's previous performer, with a quote saying, "We at Platinum Games offer our sincerest appreciation to everyone who has contributed to creating the Bayonetta series over the years, as well as the community that has served as its foundation. We give our full support to Jennifer Hale as the new Bayonetta and align with everything in her statement. We ask people to please refrain from any further comments that would disrespect Jennifer or any of the other contributors to the series." So Platinum is saying we would have offered her more money, actually. And she's saying that we lowballed her, and then she came back and said, "Nope, I want 3 figures." And she's saying, "I didn't say that." And now they're saying, "Hey, everyone, just stop talking about it. Sweep it under the rug."
Yeah, I mean, Alex probably knows more because I feel like he's paid closer attention. But apparently, people have been like harassing what's her name, Jennifer Hale. Apparently,
Jennifer Hale,
online.
the
she's just like, took a job.
Yeah,
relax. I took a job. Cut it out. So
Yeah.
I don't know, Alex. Again, you've been paying much more attention. These are just a couple reports over the last week. How do you feel? Is it still? I don't know. Give me your thoughts, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Like, this has provided a little bit more clarity in this situation. It's definitely helped illuminate some things that were previously like not like super obvious in terms of what was going on. In the previous podcast where we talked about this, we talked about the weirdness that they would bring on Jennifer Hale, somebody who famously has been very kind of pro-union, very pro-advocating for people within the video game industry being paid their due. And this, makes a little bit more sense of what has been a situation that has not made a lot of sense, but it's still been shitty. I think what's been a little bit disappointing is that in the wake of the initial allegations that the original voice actress alleged against Bayonetta's developer and Nintendo, a lot of people were very much in kind of support of her, and it definitely kind of like kicked open an open fire with regards to kind of the whole kind of ongoing discussion that we've had over the past few years about video game voice actors and anime voice actors kind of getting paid their due, and companies needing to, embrace and accept unions. And what's been a little bit disappointing is that since the kind of news about Helena Taylor having come out, apparently people have been kind of digging through her Twitter account, and they found evidence of her not being all that great of a person. Apparently there's some like transphobic rhetoric that she's engaged with in the past. And it's like, I'm not going to sit here and stand up and say, oh man, that's totally forgivable because she's in a disadvantaged situation right now. But like, I think that this is one of the situations where we can be like, we may not, disagree with the kind of person here. Perhaps there's more going on here than we previously knew about, and it's not as black and white of a situation as she was done dirty. But we can still take the kind of larger kind of message, larger moral of this whole situation, which is that actors within the video game industry deserve to be paid better, deserve to be paid a living wage, and still kind of uphold that as important. And I can't help but feel like that got a little bit lost in the shuffle over the course of the week or so since this news story originally breaking. But hopefully it will still stay because it's important.
I'll be honest, when I saw the rebuttal and when Platinum said, actually, we were going to pay her as much as $15,000, I still went, that's all? That's
Yeah,
all
and
she
that's
would
the other
make?
thing too is not only is it not that much money, but like I think it was Jason Schreier that was talking about how like you have to kind of factor in like taxes and all sorts of other things that result in even that sum of money being cut down more and more and more until it's an even less impressive sum than what you originally started with as well.
Yeah. It's wild. When it comes to voice acting, I know that it differs wildly from the movie industry because movies make so much money, especially when they're marketed to kids and stuff like that. But like the figure that always blows my mind that I come back to is for the original Despicable Me movie, before it blew up into the franchise that it is with the Minions and all that kind of stuff today, the original one, Steve Carell worked for 4 hours in a recording booth and made $500,000. And then to know that this woman was going to be asked to work, as much as 20 hours in a recording booth and make $15,000, like that to me, I know this is very different. Like Bayonetta is nowhere near on the level of Despicable Me, and it's not a movie. She's not Steve Carell, but still, $15,000 sounds really, really low for a first-party Nintendo published, like AAA developer with Platinum Games, like a big character and franchise that Nintendo of all people is investing in. That sounds really low. So yeah, but I think this has been really good to highlight like the need for better pay for voice actors for sure. If that's what comes out of this, excellent. I hate that people's relationships and careers and things like that are being kind of dragged through the mud, but still blows my mind that Platinum defended themselves with that number.
But I wonder what that is in industry standard. Because if you think about it, do you make $15,000 in over the course of 2 days?
No, but when it comes to acting,
I understand it's different.
yeah.
I understand it's different. But
Most actors are unemployed 99% of the year.
Yeah. Because again, I don't know what the standard is. That's the number I would like to know is what people normally get paid for a 4-hour session. That would be great to know. Besides, again, of course, Steve Carell, that's a completely different thing. But where she asked for 6 figures, I'm like, I feel like that feels like a bit much, right? For 20 hours worth of work, 6 figures. But again,
6
I don't
figures
know.
does sound like unreasonable for the level of that like that game is going to sell.
I wonder
for
what
sure.
Jennifer Hale took. That's what I want. Again, she's not going to say because that's her personal business, and she knows that's not what to do. But like, what's the difference between what Jennifer Hale decided was enough and what Helena thought wasn't enough? I don't know. I'm just very interested in what the standards are. But again, that's a whole, Actors Guilds, voice act. It's a whole thing we don't know about. But,
and for anyone who out there is thinking like, I don't know, 20 hours of work and make 15 grand sounds pretty nice. Like, I only have experience with the Actors Equity Union, which is the like stage actors, where it is a real statistic that at any given time, 99% of all actors in that union are unemployed. And it's like they have a year to get between jobs before they lose health insurance. Like it is expected that you will be unemployed most of the time, and then you get big chunks of money every once in a while sporadically that will have to last you a long time. So that sounds like $15,000 for 20 hours of work is great, but it's
especially
work
with
is
the
far and few
residuals.
between.
Because I know people who do commercial work. That's the best part because you get paid a decent amount, but then you just get a check every month for the rest of your fucking life.
And it's basically not like the 20 hours of work that you do as like an actor in that sort of scenario is not equivalent to like the 20 hours of work that you do doing like some like kind of more lower skill like manual labor kind of job. Like it sounds silly, but like a lot of voice actresses have talked about like damaging their voice, ruining their one kind of talent doing these incredibly intensive, incredibly difficult jobs that again can only take like a manner of hours to perform. And so like it's important that they kind of be properly compensated for that.
Yeah, for sure. I just remember though, this whole story reminded me of was it GTA 4 when the guy who played Nico was like, "Oh, this game sold really well. Can I get money on the back end?" And the Rockstar was like, "Fuck you." And then all the GTA 5 dudes didn't say nothing about that. Apparently, they all came back for DLC. That Nico guy never came back. So interesting. But
is that why like Nico never really got referenced again in the series?
I have no idea. I would assume that might be part of it.
Because I know that like one of like a bunch of like the main characters from like the DLCs for GTA 4 came back in like 5, but Nico himself like never returned.
Yeah, there's never.
And I'm wondering if that's I'm wondering if those two stories are related.
Yeah, interesting. It's just like, yeah, again, hope that everything's fine with her. Hope people get paid a fair rate, whatever your job is. Me being a nosy, I want to know the numbers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just want to know the numbers. But anyways,
What's interesting too is there's a law being passed in California starting January 1st. All open positions, like every single job description, stuff like that, will now have to have a salary range too, which I assume also goes for like voice actors and things like that, and movie actors. So I'm wondering if like we'll start to see a lot more transparency around that, because obviously there's a ton of game development happening in California.
because you'll have the range at least.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So regardless of the talent themselves, we'll at least know lead actor in this film, or we're looking for a voice actor for this character in a game, and we'll know what the salary could be.
Okay, cool.
That's it for our quest log, and it is time for Game on Game Show. The game on our gaming show, we play a game called Game On, the game show on our game show. Game. Alex, is this left over from last week, or do you actually have a TMI with NPD?
I do not. That unfortunately
Perfect.
is left over. I'm
That's
sorry. I'm
No worries.
so sorry.
I have a game this week called Guess What Happened This Week? It's a returning segment that we've played a few times over the last year. This is the first time we've ever played it with two people. So here's how the game works. I go to vglegacy.com, and they have a segment, or they have a page where they're just like, here's everything that happened in video game history this week. And it could be game systems that came out. It could be video games that released in certain territories. It could be people that were born out of mom's vagina.
People escaping birth canals. Yep, that's my favorite one.
Could be any of that. And I will tell you the date, the year, and then I will give you a hint about what it might be referring to. And you have to guess what it is. For this, you both will not, like, it'll be a free-for-all. Whoever says the thing first, awesome. You do not have to wait till the end of the clue in order to guess, although I will continue to read the clue just so everyone at home can hear it and guess on themselves. So we've got 7. Each one is worth 33 points, so keep track on yourself. Starting with October 23rd. Today is October 23rd. That's today in time. 1981. Let's bring your brain back. Oh, here's the twist. It's spooky. October. Spooky, scary. So all of these clues are all describing like a nightmare scenario or something like a nightmare or a spooky thing or a scary thing. So they're all set up like that.
Gotcha.
I'm dying.
Please don't die on us. That's too scary, spooky.
Okay. So here's the first nightmare. That Spielberg movie, Duel, where the truck is terrorizing Dennis Weaver and chasing him down the highway, except you're Dennis Weaver, but you don't have a car, and the highway is full of trucks, and you're being chased down by trucks and run over.
Frogger.
Frogger it is. Congratulations, Adam. Frogger came to arcades on October 23rd,
Almost.
1981.
Yeah. I like how we're doing this. What the fuck is that movie you just referenced?
It's Duel. It's a made-for-TV movie from the 70s by Steven Spielberg.
It's
seen that.
his first movie, basically.
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
it's good. It's
Not like
intense.
first ever like piece of film work he made, but like first like motion picture,
The
basically.
big thing.
Yeah,
I thought it
it's-
was the movie from Stephen King where the Green Goblin's on the front of the truck.
I thought that too for a second.
What movie are you talking about with that? What is that?
I think it's the only movie he ever directed where it's Carnage. Fuck, I don't know what it's called.
I
But
know what you're talking about. Hold on.
it literally has Spider-Man's Green Goblin on the front of a truck, and the truck is like evil possessed or something like that.
Yeah, fuck.
I know there's
hold on.
Christine, which is the car.
No, that's the little car.
Okay.
This is a big truck.
Fuck, I can't Google enough. What's happening?
There's Jeepers
Fuck, every
Creepers, which
single
is the
time
guy
I bring
driving
up
the big
Stephen
truck.
King movie, it brings up movies based off of Stephen King's books, but not the one movie he directed.
Here. We'll handle this right now. Stephen King Green
There we go.
Goblin truck.
Maximum Overdrive.
Maximum Overdrive. There you go.
Yeah. The story with
this
that
is-
movie is that was shortly after Stephen King got hurt by like a truck like almost run him over or whatever, and so he directed that movie while he was like high on Quaaludes or whatever, which is why it's so weird.
Oh yeah, Stephen King has done a ton of drugs in his life.
Living his best life.
No, this one's a movie. The guy is just like on a long road trip for work, I think it is, and there's a big Mack truck that he like honks at on the highway to like move it. I can't remember what starts it, but
there's a Bob Burgers episode about that.
yeah, probably
The Christmas one.
And then the truck just like fucking tries to
Follows
ram
him
him,
around and
running
tries to
off the
kill him and
road,
shit.
and he hides, and the truck finds him, and you never see the driver. All right, staying on the same day, October 23rd, 1988. This is that one nightmare actors have where they walk out on stage, but they forgot to put on their Tanuki suit and they're naked, and also all their lines are in
Mario Bros.
Japanese.
3?
It is Super Mario Bros. 3,
Yeah.
but all their lines are in
both
Japanese,
said
and they
that, by
don't
the
speak
way.
Japanese.
Yeah. We both said that at the same time, by the way.
Well, I'm going to
both get-
say both of you
we
get
both get
33
33.
points for that. Actually, we're going to split
right.
that in half. Both of you get 16 and a half points.
All right. I'm actually
But
keeping
Alex,
track.
I am going
Okay.
to give you that .05 from last game and add it to this
So he
game.
gets 17. Okay.
Okay.
No, he gets 16.55.
All right.
Okay.
Yes, that was Super Mario Bros. 3 came out on the Famicom in Japan on that day. All right, October 24th. That's tomorrow, 2014. Witches are scary as fuck, except this one's even more scary because it's the 21st century, and you know what's scary now? Guns. This one has 4
Bayonetta.
guns, one on... Yep, it is Bayonetta. Hold on. This one has guns on all of her limbs again.
Bayonetta 2.
Bayonetta 2 on Wii U. That is correct. October 24th, 2014. All right. 4 to go. October 25th, 2005. This is that anxious feeling you get when you hook up with a rando on Tinder and you're worried that at any moment they might start speaking Spanish and their head explodes and a giant mutated bug-looking thing comes out of their
Resident
neck
Evil
and
4?
spits Yes, it is Resident Evil 4
All right.
on PS2.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
October
Very
25th, 2013. This is that spooky feeling you get when you make superhero games relevant again with a really dope trilogy, and then you trust the prequel to a different studio and they don't do a great job with
Origins. Batman Arkham Origins.
it. It is Batman Arkham Origins,
Batman
correct?
Arkham Origins.
Batman Arkham Origins.
Blah, 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 blah.
Who's in the lead? What are your point totals right now?
I have 33 plus 16.5 plus 33 plus 33. So I have 115.5 points.
I
Okay,
have
and Alex, how many you have?
49.55 points.
Okay, it's all right. You can still win if you get both of these correct before Adam. You can win by 0.05 points.
Oh.
October 26th, 2000. This is that horrific sound of a little kid giggling in the dark woods, and the only way to kill it is by gruesomely mutating your body into different creatures and stabbing it with a fairy sword.
Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask.
That is correct, Alex. You get 33 points.
I really slurred through that one.
This one's it. Game point. Final one. October 26th, 2018. This is a recent terrifying, scary thing. Picture this terrifying nightmare. A giant open world that demands hundreds of hours
Dead
of your
Redemption
time.
2.
It is Red Dead Redemption 2. That is
I
correct.
already knew you were trying to talk shit.
The rest of the clue is it demands hundreds of hours of your time, but instead of doing fun or interesting things, you just stare at horse butts for most of it and clean your gun and shave your face and shit forever.
Game's
Terrifying.
fantastic. You're crazy.
That is it for
so-
Game on Game Show. Congratulations, Adam, on winning. What is your
I know
score?
we-
144.5 points, or 148.5 points, as you can see.
Excellent. Excellent.
I know that we brought it up last week's episode. Did either of you ever play Red Dead Revolver?
No.
No.
I played like the first 4 hours of that game. That game is fucking weird. Like that game, the whole deal with that game is it was like originally a like Capcom published like kind of arcadey experience, and then Rockstar basically brought it into their fold and they made it a little bit more of like a legitimate like Old West game. But there is still so much bizarre shit in that game. There's like one boss battle where you're battling like a guy that's like teleporting everywhere and like you're fighting the undead. Like it is a trip.
I played Gun. I'm a thespian. Teleporting. What the fuck? All right.
God, do you remember the game Wet?
Yeah.
W-E-T?
From Bethesda. I loved
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
I just played the
unusual
demo.
way to
That's it.
spell wet.
I was thinking of, like my appetite. Or wet my. What do you say? WHET. What is that? Wet my whistle.
Yeah, wet your appetite.
No, wet my appetite. Is that it?
Yeah. Wet your whistle is just drinking water.
You're
which
right.
would be
That's just
WET.
wetting it. Wet. It's also isn't that like a welding thing too?
Actually,
No. Sharpen the blade of a tool or weapon is to wet, like a whetstone.
Oh, the
that
whetstone.
makes sense.
There you go.
this is according to Merriam-Webster.com. Wet, W-H-E-T, your appetite is how that's spelled, whereas wet your whistle is W-E-T.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Wed is the welding thing that I was thinking of when you wed two metals together.
A wedding
And
is when two
and
people
then
get
they
married.
consummate their marriage, and
there you go.
and then sperm comes out of the metal. Go to patreon.com/respawnaimfire and you can get a wallpaper of metals jizzing. No, you can't. That's not going to be a wallpaper. It is, but only for the people who pay an exorbitant amount of money on patreon.com. In which case you will set up a private Zoom call with me. Patreon.com/RespawnAimFire is where you can go to normally vote on barf games, which are our backlog accomplishments with Respawn and Friends games. As we mentioned last week, we're going to stick with the Game of the Year type poll for these. So we'll put up a couple polls here before the end of the month with which Game of the Year you would like each of us to play in order to make sure that it is in consideration for a Game of the Year. And then we will make sure that we prioritize those and get up a review of them before the end of the year. Alex, do you want to be part of that? Do you want to have a Game of the Year barf game?
Oh, yeah,
Cool.
for sure. There are still like a few games I want to take care of before the end of the year. I might have some suggestions for this one, actually. So, for sure.
Okay. In that case, we're gonna do 3 separate polls on Patreon, one for each person, because we might not all necessarily have to play the same game. Like, obviously, both of you guys have platinumed Horizon Forbidden West. I haven't even played it. I know, I'm joking.
TBD about that one.
So, send me your list of games your 4 games that you might want to put up for Game of the Year consideration, and we'll put them up. We'll put up a poll this week. But you can also get dope wallpapers for your device there, and this will be a thing now. This will be our like AMA type thing. We'll do that in lieu of having a proper barf over the next couple weeks. So maybe we'll do that once before the end of the year and continue it throughout the next year. So if you want to take part in all of that, go to patreon.com/respawnaimfire. This month's barf game for October is Super Castlevania 4, which we already did our episode for. It is up right now. Go check that out. It is better than Zelda 2. 66.6% of dentists agree.
Citation needed.
This will be Alex's thing now. Like, you're just going to have to live with that forever. Even regardless, it's an opinion about a retro game. It doesn't actually matter in real life. This will be a thing that sticks with you until you die.
Yep.
I'll stick with it then. I will stick with it till I am in the grave.
Careful. Don't bring that voodoo on yourself. You might be in the grave sooner than you think now.
Fuck.
Just look over your shoulder. Thank you, Alex. Speaking of Alex dying, thank you, Alex, for being here on our show as our RAF regular. If folks want to continue to consume your content outside of this space, where can they go and how do they find you?
You can find me over on Twitter at Alex Kozina, and you can find me over on Twitch at twitch.tv/CozyBearLive, KOZIBEARLIVE. I'm continuing to make my way through my Pokemon Platinum Nuzlocke run, so go and check that out if you're interested.
Love it. That's it for this episode 281 of Respawn Aim Fire. We're going to take next week off in order to get spooky. Just kidding, most of us just aren't going to be here. But yeah, take a week, enjoy yourselves, go play Marvel Snap maybe. And we'll see you in 2 weeks. Until next time, here's our usual sign off. That epic, horrible, terrifying line from Disney's Tarzan. Just look over your shoulder. I'll be there always.